Everybody, how's everyone doing? Welcome back to, what's today, March 17th? March 17th? March 17th. Happy St. Patty's Day to everyone out there, to all my Celtics, to all my Irish. Happy St. Patty's Day. That's a Scottish one. Anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy Equinox Gateway. Happy, grand revealing. Man, there's a lot that's going on. What's new? I feel like I start out every morning saying that there's a lot going on. There's always a lot going on. When is there not going to be a lot going on when it comes to the quantum, right? Or just when it comes to life in general. Okay, I want to talk about the things that I am aware of from my own end, the things that I've observed and witnessed and what is going on. This gateway, this Equinox gateway, there's a lot of heart influxes going on, a lot of heart expansion, a lot of light body activations going on, a lot of DNA stuff going on. Hey, welcome in. And so as a result of this, I want to talk about, first off, guys, what's kind of happening with this opportunity that we're in this week. There are certain key moments on our trajectory where the pathway opens up for us and we can really accelerate and jump right now if we choose to, if we consciously choose to. I've gone through these kinds of gateways before where you kind of like have this go window to just rock up Jacob's ladder and to create opportunities at every now moment to recognize when you have a choice point to review and when you can evolve. Okay, and I've been talking about this, evolving past our limitations, evolving in our own way. We all have a choice right now to be able to, when we encounter certain narratives, our higher selves have been throwing these opportunities our way, where it's saying, okay, you have a choice right here. Are you going to choose that newer version of you in response? Are you going to choose that higher self? Are you going to choose that higher knowing? Are you going to choose that higher pathway? And are you going to propagate that into your own awareness? If that's something that you are calling forward as an experience, because not everyone is calling it forward, guys. Not everyone is calling forward that higher vibrational pathway or that higher narrative. But right now, we very much so have a go window to do that, right? We have reached a very major completion in regards to certain pathways, in regards to certain archival memories, and in regards to certain timelines. And you can feel the shift. I noticed it about 48 hours ago where I was like, wow, the clarity here. It was like literally overnight, things shifted drastically. Things that I thought would take months or years, and things I've been processing for freaking decades, just done. Just gone, like it just obliterated out of nowhere. And I feel like a part of that revelation is recognizing that your life can change overnight, guys. That your miracle can arrive here and now, and it can literally, your whole life can change overnight. And I feel like that's a part of the opportunity of what this wave and what this acceleration is for ourselves, is gifting ourselves the opportunity to know that our lives can change just like that, for the better, for the better, for the better. So we very much so are being aligned right now with opportunities in the timeline and within the passageways for you to be able to choose a new narrative, to choose a new routine, to choose a new pathway, to choose a new way of operating within your body. And as a result, your universe will gift you the acceleration of your pathway, if you so choose to take that opportunity. A lot of this is about the feeling space of the realms that we're navigating and what is optimal for us here and now for this gateway and for what's coming forward in the next season and for the next upcoming months. Because we are in a big transitional energy. We're in a big transformative energy. We're in a big revelatory energy, revelation, which is the knowing, the divine truth, the divine clarity. And this is what I want to talk about with revelation. These reality shifting events can gift us an opportunity to hear, see, feel at deeper levels and to witness things that we've never witnessed before. As a result, they can be catalytic, they can be disruptive, but I want to talk about processing, guys, because this is very, very key here. You do not have to respond or be reactionary to the revelation of your own truth and your own clarity. And this is why I state that, is because I've encountered situations lately where I'm processing. Okay, so I'm processing light data. I'm processing a trauma. I'm processing a belief system, right? And when the revelation of this truth hits, because I'm engaging with a frequency or a consciousness and it's unlocking from within me, what can happen is that if I choose to be reactionary to the truth, I can end up creating a ripple, because I've talked about ripples before, or creating a cataclysm or a catalytic event between myself and my routine, myself and my job, myself and my family, myself and my partner, myself and my reaction to a community or to what's going on globally. Okay. Speaking of this, is we do not have to be reactionary to processing. And this is where, while we're processing data, while we're processing traumas, while we're processing timelines, while we're processing grief, is to become non-reactionary and to become observant over what is clearing. Some things that come into our lives that we are aware of in regards to the timelines and the passageways and the narratives that we are shifting can make us feel a certain way. And it's up to us in regards to how we resolve and dissolve the trigger, to be able to take a step back, allow everything to process, and then once the processing is over with, making a decision. Okay, here's what I want to state though. If your life is in jeopardy, if you feel unsafe, if you feel like you are going to be hurt, if there's any sort of spiritual abuse, physical abuse, or emotional abuse, I invite you to get the F out. You don't have to sit in that energy, okay? But what I'm speaking of is because when we get hit with like a download, okay, so let's say that we're downloading some wisdom and we're clearing a trauma, okay? And this trauma regards a storyline or a timeline that has appeared before within human history, and us as a collective are shifting it, okay? As a result, sometimes this narrative, okay, so think about that, the timeline shows up, let's say it's from 16th century BCE. Sometimes the people in your life are the propagation of that storyline, hence why the timeline is coming up. It doesn't mean that that storyline is true right here, okay? It's not stating that that timeline is true here and now with where you're at. It could be that you are living out a past life timeline, and if you choose consciously to shift it right then, that is when you're going to see a whole different revelation come through for you, okay? So I invite you to be non-reactive to what you're processing, allow it to process and digest, and then if you have the opportunity and you need to make a choice based upon after you've processed what you've processed. Because even myself, this revelation has been really gorgeous, because there's been things that I've been queuing into in my own life that have been my own truths and my own storylines. And when I sit down and I become non-reactionary but observant to what is occurring and allow it to process fully, I can now begin creating a dialogue with the storyline to allow it to shift and to upgrade and to expand. But also my dialogue and engagement with others who are part of that storyline is a lot more soft and loving and kind. So it's really about taking a non-reactive approach to these things. Because if the timeline or the pathway propagates fear, or it propagates, an agenda, whatever the revelation is for you that you're meant to know, sometimes the reaction, the immediate reaction or the immediate response to the event or the timeline can begin propagating a whole new level of disruption and discord, right? And so for those that are in that like propagation of peace and that are in the propagation of the newness, sometimes sitting back with the data, allowing it to process, and then making a choice in the morning or the next day or the next couple days is what's the highest aligned truth. Because I found that when we're going through these levels of reality shifting and reality bending in our own lives, when we go through and we process it, right, and then we make a choice to process a little deeper in dream time, then when we wake up in the morning, I've found that things that were bothersome the night before are just like gone like that. There's really that instantaneous miracle that is occurring based upon the level of light that is available in the collective, and our choice whether we're going to say no to that narrative, whether we're going to agree to that narrative, or whether we're going to keep pursuing whatever vision that we're calling forward as a creation. Because a lot of this is when we're calling forward a creation, of course, the timelines that get in the way from us to be able to fully land, solidify, or crystallize that pathway are shown to us. And then it's our choice to dissolve and resolve from within, to purify, to become better acquainted with who we are, to feel more comfortable and sure about our pathway. And then as a result, we're basically clearing the pathway ahead. And this is a part of that jump time, right? That leap that we have during these passageways is that we can actually gift ourselves an opportunity to shift out the narrative, find more clarity, and to just keep moving forward, right? So we're kind of like, Shiva, carving our own pathway, carving ourselves out of our the jungle or the situations that we've been in, especially if there's been a lot of entanglement or residue from past life events or old scenarios that have been inserted into your container, inserted into your life path, and inserted into your creation that you're calling forward and witnessing for yourself. Okay, so these times are extremely transformative, and really it's up to us as a collective of humanity, as a collective of light workers and individuals and as creators, to not attach to the storyline, but become observant of the storyline, So then you don't have to be reactive to it, right? Because the stuff that's coming up, even myself, I've been, last night I was sitting with, I was like, oh God, we're all processing trauma tonight. And I got to sit there and be with it. And like, when you're processing it, you're kind of like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Oh, I don't want to know that. Oh God, what is this? Oh God. And you're just like sitting there processing trauma. But once it's done, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I just took a poop, right? I just took a shift. And it doesn't mean that it's true. It just means that you're processing something, right? It just means that you're processing something. So the non-reactive approach will help us to dissolve the ripples, and then we can propagate more peace for ourselves within intertribal communications and within the soul family, guys, right? So because the soul family and repairing the connections interdimensionally, multidimensionally, weaving in new timelines, weaving in new light, weaving in new abilities, weaving in new creations, is we have to allow the old to dissolve, and we don't have to attach to it, because it doesn't mean that this truth is existing here and now. Okay. So including when we're witnessing things in the collective, guys, it doesn't mean that it is true here and now. And we have to just be mindful of these things, that a lot of the pathways that we're clearing are pathways that are propagated within fear, within war, within corruption, right? And when we see these things, that's what we're going to feel, okay? But then a part of us as a choice of conscious creators is, are we going to respond to that fear? Are we going to become reactionary to the fear? Are we going to react to that war? Are we going to react to that persecution? Are we going to react to that exile? Are we going to react to whatever it is that we are processing and downloading? You can sit with it. I promise you, here and now, this equinox flux and this gateway will reveal to you that which you need to know about yourself, about your community, about your heart, about your knowing. Okay. You're gonna get all the info you need to get. I promise you. You are not stuck. Your clarity will come. Just wait, right? Sit with it. Sometimes the details don't matter, sometimes they do. Sometimes it's just something that needs to process within the body. Once the body's done clearing it, boom, you're done. Shift is complete, right? You move on, onward and upward, right? And that's what's really, really important about noting our processing power, as our light body, and what we are processing for the collective and what we're calling forward, right? And so it's not streamlined like these are the things that we are talking about, right? It really depends upon your individual creation and what you're calling forward for yourself, here and now, in regards to the clearing of the epigenetic blueprint. That's been a big one, guys. We reached a big, I know here I reached a big epigenetic completion, which means that there's something in the ancestral line that finally shifted. And we're starting to see the results of that catching up. And so it's really nice. You can also feel in the air the lightness of the knowing and the influx of light that is available to us. And as a result, this is it's flight time, guys. It's like we have go windows to jump right now, but we have to make the conscious choice to jump, which means that we can do things to change our routine. We can do things to shift our narrative, and we can make new decisions. And we're now saying yes to that new pathway, to those new upgrades, to those new alignments. And as a result, they will be crystallized into our being. It's just about staying in the momentum of not allowing ourselves to go back into the old. So we have to gift ourselves the opportunity to witness the new. Keep allowing it to call forward and to realign in our reality, and then you will feel and sense the reality shift. This is literally light bending stuff. This is light bending, and it's really beautiful when we're walking through these passageways. So we're cooking. Last night was cook time. I don't know if anyone else felt themselves go into the oven overnight, but we definitely got cooked, right? So there was some timelines and some things that shifted overnight, and woke up this morning feeling it, but recognizing it's a lot easier to step into our joy and go, that was fun. Okay, we processed that one. What's next, right? And keep moving on. We are going through light body upgrades, okay? And I want to talk a little bit about this. So the light body upgrades can come in different ways. I've seen light body upgrades flow through the gate systems, okay? So it means that we're an open pillar, light codes come in, your light body activates, you spark, you go through heating, cooling. There's been a lot of that solar energy kind of coming through. Really, really hot. Yesterday was really, really hot and really toasty, right? So we go through a heating and cooling, and it has to do with our oscillatory rate, it has to do with the spin rate of our cells, right? It has to do with these activations and what they're bringing forward. Some of us are also getting light bodies dropped on us, and I want to talk a little bit about this, right? Because I've had different light body activations. I've had light body activations where they stream through the central column, right? It's like a download or a light code stream that comes from source, comes down. Sometimes our team come in and drop a light body on us, right? And that's different. That's different. That's a little bit more of like another dimensional version coming into the suit and giving you an activation. When this occurs, guys, allow your body to respond how it needs to. So whether you need to growl, whether you need to go, I am God, hear me roar, you need to go do push-ups, you need to go run, do sit-ups, or you need to laugh and get silly, or you need to collapse, right? Just allow it to flow. Mine came through last night. My team came in and they were like, we're pushing this into the body. And it was like, and I was like, I am fire. And, you know, I went through my process and it shifted. Okay, it shifted. And I'm being really dramatic and silly, but that's what it can feel like, right? You're like, what is this that's birthing within me? And that's, yeah, suit up. And so a lot of that is making sure we can fit it into the body, guys, right? So a lot of this, the expansion of our cells means that we have to open up the container more, right? Breathing helps. Exercise, push-ups, you know, jumping jacks, going for a run, stretching. The biggest one has been stretching, especially when it comes to our wings, right? Has been a big one. It kind of feels like, yeah, like an armor is being put around us. And then as a result, we fit it into the suit. We go through the activation sequence of everything. Sometimes our mood will change. Sometimes our behavior might feel a little off. Honestly, if you're unaware of this, people would be like, oh my gosh, is this an entity? Is this a walk-in? What is this? Right? Use your discernment. Always use your discernment. Always use your discernment. But like for me, I'm aware that my teams come in and are dropping something in the suit and that I'm getting some sort of upgrade and realignment of my reality. Right? And so as a result, if you feel like a little bit more cold or a little bit more, you know, detached when you get these activations, I just want to let you know, guys, it's normal. Your heart will come back online. Your child will come back online. My teams are they're very sure. They're like, time to get the baby in the suit. And I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, go, gaga. And, you know, the child comes in and we're back into play. They really won't let me stay in like the Titan range for too long because it's really important for me right now to propagate the child. Okay. So we have Titans waking up. Yes, that's right. We have giants waking up. We have giants. We have gods waking up right now within all of you. Okay. So if you got this Titan activation, your fire is burning, your power is on, and welcome back to the club. We love you. Just don't go kill anyone. Babysitters are around. Kidding. Just be mindful, right? Like we're waking up the Titans, we're waking up the giants. We have next levels of activations that are coming through right now, which means that there's a lot of power coming on. And for those that are ready to bring those versions online, they're going to come online. And then it's just about the integration and the expansion, and then also really bringing forward what is the purified form of this connection. What is the purified form of this activation coming through? Because what is the gift that I can celebrate within it? And how can I share this with my family, with my tribe, and with my community? Because each one of them bestows upon us gifts of beauty, gifts of courage, gifts of strength, gifts of power, you know, gifts of activation. And all of those gifts are important for the roles that we're bringing forward for humanity and what we do in our day-to-day as a part of our light working roles, okay? So it's up to you on how this translates through you and how you bring it forward. But if you sit and create that dialogue with this version or this aspect or these upgrades and allow them to crystallize fully within the form, within the vessel, right, you are going to discover what your gnosis is for that version of you. And it can be quite fun to play with. It can be. We've been having a lot of fun with creation in these multiple versions that show up and how we unify them all in the container. Because I think we counted it last night. I was talking to someone and they were like, yeah, I think they're like, the one thing I like about you, Corey, is there's like 10 different versions of you and we never know what's going to show up. And each one of them has it's funny. So we work with weaving and unifying them, the multidimensional selves, through a multidimensional base station. Okay. So yeah, it's like even right now, the teams are very much so aware of the versions that are coming online and what they've been through in the past. And some of us aren't going to get fully unlocked. I'll say that, unless we're in a wide open field somewhere. They're not going to open us all the way up. They'll open us up just enough to play. Other than that, I don't see us fully getting 100% online, because I don't know if they want us having everything online. I'm just going to leave it there. Just going to leave it there. So anyways, the other thing, guys, too. Okay, chakra upgrades. Chakra system upgrades. I want to talk about this. Some of you are becoming more aware that you have more than 7 chakras, and that you have more than 12 chakras, and you have more than 22. You actually have more than 40, and you might even have more than 80, depending upon where you're at, okay? You are going to become more aware of your pillar, okay? What happens is when these upgrades take place, this is how I see it, is if I look up my column, it looks like there's a bunch of like, so you know when people are working on a telephone line, like you have a telephone line and they've got like, they're strapped up to the telephone pole and they're like doing their thing. You might have access points to other versions of yourself that you've never connected to before. And as a result, you might notice that your information changes, that your flow changes, that your channel changes, or that you're connecting to an avatar or something off planet that you haven't quite connected to yet. And it can feel a little strange. Okay. I just want to let you know it's okay. Your chakras are turning on, right? And your central channel is very big. Your pillar is very tall. Your stretch into the cosmos is quite astounding. It's just a matter of being able to become aware of it. So as a result, it can feel weird. It can. Especially when it comes to your channeling capabilities, and especially when it comes to your access points, right? So you might feel a lengthening in your connection. And it doesn't mean you're out of body, you're just stretching a little bit further. Now, the higher that we stretch, also our toroidal field expands as a result of that as well, right? So the higher we go up in the column, so our torus also expands as well, which means then energetic awareness of things outside of your normal realms, okay? So meaning tuning in to other neighbors, tuning in further away in your own energetic awareness, you know? So let's say your field is like, 500 feet out or a quarter of a mile out or a mile out, right? Everything within that energetic range you're going to be processing or connecting to. And as a part of that energetic awareness, is that you might start tuning into things that you've never tuned in before. And it can feel kind of creepy. Okay? It can feel creepy. Just want to let you know that it can feel a little strange. With this pillar work, with the activations, right, is that we are opening up and connecting to higher floors. We're connecting to other dimensional versions. We are connecting to the avatar. We're connecting to versions of us that are on light ships. We're connecting telepathically to versions of us on other planets and in other star systems, okay? And it can feel strange, connecting with ourselves in another universe or in another realm, so to say, okay? So just becoming aware of those things, right? We're very much so right now in a go window to just keep jumping, right? To just keep jumping and doing what you can to fully integrate and to walk through the integrations and the expansion. Okay. So yeah, it's really like, it's an amazing time, guys. Like, I love these influxes when gateways open up and everyone's on the stargates and you can feel it. It's like, we're here, we're in motion, let's do this, yeah. And you can feel the celebration in the air if you so choose to. But I also recognize too, guys, that sometimes these revelations are the crack open points for us to become aware of things that we were never aware of, including our own patterning, including our own trauma, including our own community, our own families, and our own collective, right? This is the time when Jesus flips the frickin' table, right? So a lot of this energy can start to flip us upside down, depending upon what's been going on within your own life, what is going to be revealed to you, what is going to be revealed collectively. And this is the catalytic, not cataclysm, because there's a lot of those cataclysm timelines that are falling, but these can be the catalyst for our awakening, and because they are reality shifting, okay? Reality shifting isn't always soft and sweet. Sometimes reality shifting can be pretty abrupt and disruptive, okay? So the other thing about this too is that it really can have an effect on our families, our loved ones, and our relatives. And as a result, they may not know what to do because this is brand new to them. And a lot of this is they might be responding to a feeling and they don't know why. And we're not talking about just an emotional feeling. We're talking about like a claircognizant knowing or a clairsentient knowing, right? Their gifts are coming online. People are expanding at greater and greater levels, and they might be reactive and they don't know why they're reactive. But us as the intuitive, us as the light worker, have an opportunity to provide a solution here, right? And this is about propagating the awareness of self-love, self-care, letting people know about energy, letting people know about the awakening journey. So this is also an opportunity for all of us to step forward and through and to bring our solutions forward. And for some people, it might be showing up on video and doing it this way. It might be talking to a family member or a loved one. It might mean that you have to be the bigger one and soften and get your heart open and show up in a new way. It might mean that while the world is getting like really triggery around you, that you're the one that's bringing in peace, and you're the one that's opening your heart bigger than you have before, guys. We are the ones that have these tools within us to be able to create visibility in our own container, which means to show up in your own light, okay? Which means to show up as you as light. But it also means as well that you have an opportunity to provide solutions to people that need it. Okay. So this is your opportunity to stand up in your role as being a volunteer, to stand up in your role as being a way shower, to stand up in your role as being the light bearer and the light bringer and the bringer of truth, the bringer of clarity, the bringer of sovereignty, to remind people, hey, you're safe in your energetic awareness. Hey, you're safe within your own container, right? That your everything that you're going through is completely healthy, right? Expansion brings feeling states. Processing these timelines brings feelings. Emotions come to the surface. Traumas come through. Revelation of why we went through what we went through. And a lot of it, especially tying into our multidimensionality, can feel a little bit weird, right? And myself included, like, I haven't realized how perfect my reality is until the last couple of days with the people I'm connecting with and everything. Because this revelation to me is showing me how divinely guided I am. Like, how divinely guided I am. And so this revelation isn't always disruptive and catalytic. This revelation at times too for ourselves can actually be the clarity we need to know that we're moving in the right direction. And that right there is the beauty, right? So revelation doesn't always mean that we're cracking open and we're going to find out that in ancient Egypt this happened, or this trucker did that, or that guy did that. No, sometimes our revelation is that you're safe, and that you've won, and that the war is over, and that the war's been over. And you're just resolving all the negative agendas, all the trauma, right? You're coming into a new level of knowing, right? So revelation doesn't always have to mean that there's some conspiracy truth that comes out, or we find out that like Joe, Nick, and Bob were at the corner store and they robbed the clerk with a hand grenade. Like it's not always that. Sometimes it's just like, hey, everything that you've been tuning into and going through was some weird multi-dimensional crap. As a result, the storyline's done, and welcome. You made it through, right? Right? So revelation occurs in different waves and different threads based upon whatever it is that we need. But we are coming into a big completion cycle. And so as a result, we're getting clarity. And I'll state this clarity feels really good. Like, even I'm getting a little emotional right now because I'm reflecting on it. And it's like, it's knowing that like what you were tuning into was correct, but it doesn't mean that that was true to the storyline that you're propagating. There was something within the old that was bleeding through, and you needed to let it go at deeper levels. And that's what it was for me. And as a result, it was like, thank you, Bezos. Thank you, Bezos. Right? Thank you, Jeebus. Thank you, Buddha. Thank you, Buddha Christ consciousness, for bringing in this revelation, right? And as a result, because of those things, like even myself, I get to be grateful for the experience and to know that I don't have to go back there, and that those soul fractures are clearing, that those splits in the timelines are clearing, and that we're breaking off a lot of stuff right now. We're breaking off a lot, and it feels really good. It feels really good, right? So just remember the power of your processing abilities, guys. Like, your physical body is pretty quite adept at being able to process light codes, to be able to process information, to be able to process etheric light, quantum data, okay? So yes, like, you are kind of a quantum computer, in so to say, and not to like bring up all that, oh my god, we're what? No, like, your sacred architecture, your sacred container can process energy quite well. And as long as we support it in the processing of that, so mote it be, we're going to be okay. Right? So just note that we are processing stuff. It's like a data dump at times. But there's wisdom within that. And what we do is we stretch that into the form. We stretch that across all realms. We stretch that across all time space. We find the revelation, the truth, the point of wisdom. We embody that, and we carry that forward. And we learn from that. And especially when it comes down to where we've distorted the feminine, where we've neglected our own feminine, where we've abandoned versions of ourselves. Right? And we now have an opportunity to unify at greater levels, to find forgiveness at greater levels, to remember at greater levels, and to really love who we are, and to find compassion not only for ourselves but for one another. So like we're like we're looking for a guilt-free and trauma-free trip, guys. I don't know any of you that have gone through all of that shit. We're like, hey guys, who's ready for guilt-free, shame-free, trauma-free reality? That's right. Okay, who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready to go run around naked in the forest and not feel guilty for doing that, right? Who's ready? And we do that alone. All right, guys, we're not turning this into a whole, no, do that alone. Like, but I'm being silly, but like, who's ready to really live their and embody their freedom fully? Because I feel like we're all at some level calling that forward of an experience because of what we've been going through with isolation and the propagation of these pathways, that we're really igniting the freedom and the liberation for ourselves, right? And that's going to show up in different ways. It might be you want to go travel. It might be like, no, we're literally going to go run naked in the forest. Or for another individual, it might be that you're going to be able to share your truth and your clarity with the world, and you're not going to be afraid of getting exiled or getting killed or murdered for standing in your truth. Okay, so it's like every little bit of this revelation and the excitement that is blossoming right now for what's coming forward is igniting within all of us, right? And I invite you to express that freedom and to express that liberation and express that hope through you in the way that feels right and comfortable for you. Okay, feels right and comfortable for you. So yes, the light body stuff. When these light body phases ignite, guys, our physical body goes through a restructuring process, right? Just honor the body. For some of you, it might be you got to go to bed and you just got to relax. For some of you, it might mean you need to eat a lot. It might be exercise. You listen to your body and what it needs when the activations come through, and then what you need for integration. There's a lot of light body support out there, and I want to, if you have any questions about light body support or anything like that, some great people to tune to. All right, Lisa Transcendence Brown, go to awakeningtoremembering.com. She has been she's been a very huge, she's played a huge role in my life in regards to light body work. Okay, she's got a lot of great information about the light body that can help you out, and she's got articles on her webpage. If you go to awakeningtoremembering.com and just kind of sift through and allow your universe to guide you to what you need to read, you will find exactly what you need to read. But her articles are non-linear, so it's going to talk to your light body. It's not going to talk to your ego. Okay, it's going to talk to your light body, which means that your mind not be able to make sense of what she's saying, but your heart and your soul knows, and I want to remind you that. Talk about non-linearity, guys. When we are processing this stuff, the mind can go out the window. When the mind goes out the window, that means that there is no ability to do any form of linearity, right? So if you sit there and you feel like you're trying to get something done and you are stumbling, like you're like, I know that this should take me 5 seconds, but for some reason, it's taken me 10 minutes, right? Like yesterday, I felt super reversed. Like I felt like wires were getting crossed and there was things I normally could do that I can't do. I want to let you know, guys, that that's normal, right? Losing the mind is normal, right? And so to be able to not produce anything linearity is okay, because then this is the adjustment to the quantum, which means that sometimes we just need to float. Sometimes we need to float. Sometimes we just need to surrender to it and laugh at the fact that we don't have a linear brain, that we don't have a linear mind, and we can't do anything linear, right? So you might try to go do something, and as you're processing, and you do it completely backwards, or you do it upside down, or you do it left to right when you normally do it right to left. This is your neural rewiring, guys. Think about when you open up a new pathway. You open up a new door, you open up a new potentiality, because you're aligning and arriving into a new thought, which means that your linear routine can go out the window, and when you do things, you might be doing it backwards. It might feel like you're dyslexic. It might feel like you're doing things in a reverse order. This is a part of neural rewrites, new thoughts, new transformation, new routines, new pathways. It can feel backwards. We've also just went through a lot of pole shifts and magnetic shifts with the solar waves, right? So as a result, when the pole shifts, right, our field shifts, our energy shifts, our mind shifts, right? So it can feel like that. I just want to let everyone know, right? You're cool. You're cool. I do things backwards. I read things backwards. And I was laughing. Like I went through, there was last night I was doing some things and I was like, oh God, that took me like 20 minutes to do. Normally it takes me 2 minutes to get that done. And for some reason it took me 20 minutes. It's okay. That's fine. I don't have a brain right now. That's fine. I'm quantum. I'm in flow. It's fine. I can laugh at it. Right. And it's funny because this awakening journey is actually becoming more funny and more silly the more we get the child online, and the more that we become energetically aware of our own upgrades and our own expansion and what happens. Like losing the human can be funny, but there is a lot of these transformative cycles, especially at an emotional level and especially at a traumatic level and a detachment level, that can feel very sucky, right? And I want to remind everyone again, we have to walk through the yucky to get to the yummy sometimes, right? break down, break open, break through, especially if you hold a lot of the Christ distortion, or you're here to purify a lot of that Christ template and a lot of those Christ codes, right? So a lot of those Christ codes can be very transformative at an emotional level. Okay. So it meaning that a lot of the breakdown, break open, break through stuff can be a little bit heavier, or could feel a little bit more on some of us than on others. It really depends upon our soul's imprint, depends upon our soul's choice of what we need for our mastery sequence to be able to grow and to evolve and to learn from the experiences that we've been through. A lot of it has to do with the people that you're connecting with. It has to do with the karma that you're dissolving and resolving. It has to do with the timelines. Once again, is back to the processing stuff, guys, is it's not one size fits all, right? So if you get a download that says, you know, Jimmy, Joe, and Bob did this on Saturday, it doesn't mean that they literally did that on Saturday. You could be watching a timeline, and as a result, that potentiality was there, but you're choosing not to that. So you're closing on that potentiality, and your life path gets rewritten. Okay. Once again, it doesn't always mean that that is the singular form of truth. And this is what we need to be mindful of with revelation, is that conscious tuning. When truth comes in and it accelerates our pathway, it doesn't mean that that is exactly what happened. You could be tuning into a parallel lifetime. You could be tuning into a parallel universe. You could be tuning into a corrupt timeline that is sitting in the field, and it just needed to shift out, right? It doesn't mean that that's what's going on. And also, too, is someone might be processing a timeline about you. This is something else I've encountered. I had someone processing a timeline about me, and as a result, I started to live out that timeline. And I was like, oh my God, I'm losing my goddamn mind, right? Becoming non-reactive in the recognition that I am processing something. That when I created the communication link with the individual of what was going on, once again, I recognized they were processing something that had nothing to do with me, but because I was an archetype in the storyline, Corey wore the hat, Corey got the story, right? And so a lot of that is like, okay, Corey got the story. Now what is my choice? What do I do with this level of awareness? I don't need this story because it's not mine. You know, and I give it up. I'll let it go. Host, so mode it be. And then I also clock it into my reality to highlight that this is a storyline. So when it appears, I go, oh, poop loop, or another layer. Let's shift it, right? And that's the thing, is this is what's beautiful about revelation and about awareness, right? Is that when we click it into our reality, we click it into our archival memory, that was something that we faced before, is that when we witness it again, we can start to see when an old pattern is arriving, and we can go, oh, I see you. Let's shift it out, right? It's opportunities to shift so we don't keep propagating those old cycles and those old levels of awareness and those old timelines, guys. We've been doing a lot of work to shift out a lot of these timelines. Like, why would we go back? Why would we go back? Well, and a lot of that is, you know, sometimes we have to keep re-engaging with the storyline to really get the hint. Sometimes we need that for our own purification cycle, and sometimes we need that for our own remembrance. Sometimes that's exactly what we need, is to re-engage with the storyline over and over and over to get the hint, especially if you're stubborn. So if you are if you are a stubborn cosmonaut like me, you'll know what I mean, right? So some of us are a little bit more stubborn than others, and we go, okay, I'm gonna go play in that realm again. Then we hit our head and we learn. We go, okay, we get the universal 12x4. We get the little smack upside the head. You know, mom and dad come through and they pat us on the back and they go, it's okay, little one. You know, never again, no more. And we just keep going. We keep going, right? So I just wanted to bring these things into awareness for everyone, is that, like, right now, the more that we harmonize with Gaia, and the more that we harmonize with the stargates, and the more that we harmonize with our own living light code and our own living library, and Gaia's multidimensional access points in her library, in her caves of creation, the more that we're opening up to the expansion that is available to us. And right now, with the light influxes, there's a lot of doorways open and a lot of completions that we can arrive within, but we have to choose it for ourselves as well. So the more that you keep calling forward that pathway, the more you keep harmonizing with love, the more you keep harmonizing with unity consciousness, the more that you maintain and sustain peace, and the more that you call for that expression into your reality, the more you're going to see that show up. But also, guys, the more we're going to see access and availability to this in the quantum realms for the collective. The divide and conquer really isn't necessary. We can come together and build, but we let the limitations of ourselves and we let the egos get in the way of us being able to do things and to be able to get along. We let our wounding get in the way. We let our traumas get in the way. Rightfully so. I still have mine that get in the way. This isn't coming from a place of like, I am Buddha and I know it all. No, you're talking to someone who's still got a lot of human tendencies and is okay with it, right? Has accepted that this journey of awakening, this journey of ascension, is that I'm here to unravel 26,000 plus years of human trauma from my body, right? This narrative last night that I ran into, I was like, why is this narrative showing up? I started that communication link, like, why is this showing up? And they're like, Corey, it's in your bone marrow. I was like, hey, gold. What? Yeah. This timeline, Corey, is in your bone marrow. And I was like, that sucks. I'm like, yeah, we need to clear it from your bone marrow. I was like, ouch. This is going to hurt. Because if you've ever cleared past life trauma from your bones, you'll know what I mean. You'll know what I mean. You know when you wake up and you feel like your head got cut off, or someone cut off your arm, or someone broke a limb? Gosh, right? And this is, guys, especially when it comes to these timelines, right? Is that if this timeline needs to let go of and your higher self wants to, this is when a lot of people will run into injuries. Okay, and I don't want to call that forward as an experience for anyone and cast that spell into any direction. So please, clear, cancel, delete. Don't attach to it. But this is a key one, guys, is that this is when these timelines come up to shift, if your body can't let go of it, this is when people will start getting hurt, because your body's releasing the emotion. Your body is releasing the traumatic memory. Your body is releasing that timeline, and everyone is going to shift it in their own way. So for me, mine have been body pains. Mine has been like, okay, time to get to the chiropractor. I haven't been able to afford it, right? Haven't been able to afford it. But to get to a chiropractor to get my spine adjusted, there's been highlighted focus in our own bodies that are not places of concern, but like places that are highlighted and noted that is going to be a part of our physical ascension process that we need to work through, right? So for me, it's been all spine, it's back, it's shoulders, right? And a lot of it is alignment and posture for me, right? Because for me, I was an emo kid growing up. I still am an emo kid. Always going to be an emo kid, right? So being an emo kid growing up, my shoulders naturally roll forward. I was always hood on. I was always like this, and I had the blue hair, and I was like, don't talk to me, right? That was my attitude as a kid. So now that I'm ascending and I'm working with my column and I'm working with my energy, I'm recognizing now my shoulders need to roll back and I need to work with my spine, because I never really was supported, and I was always slouching, and I was always carrying this dark cloud of depression over my shoulders because I was Eeyore, right? So if you were an emo kid and a dashboard confessional kid growing up, you know what I mean here, okay? So a lot of this is that right now there's also the highlight on the body of what we need to work on and repair to get into alignment in our own body for what we're embodying when it comes to oversoul consciousness, when it comes to the monad, and when it comes to avatar consciousness, and how much light we're holding within the form, right? Whether you want to see this as the soul expression, the oversoul anchoring, or you want to see this as a light body activation, there are highlighted points of awareness on our body that need to be worked on, and that's going to be clarified for all of us individually. And then it's about for all of us calling forward the resources necessary so we can begin to, once again, propagate for our own lives the wellness of that part of our body, right? So for some of you, kidneys, if it's your back, if it's your bladder, if it's your liver, if it's your gallbladder, if it's your spleen, right? If it's your colon, if it has to do anything with your digestive system, guys, I invite you to also begin through these influxes calling forward what you need, okay, to be able to take care of that. Do you need supplements? Do you need to go get a colonic, right? Do you need to go to a doctor? Do you need to go see a chiropractor, right? It's this one's even for myself, guys, when we're freeing ourselves from the struggle narrative, okay? Let's go into this. The struggle narrative and the suffering narrative, especially in regards to financial resources, okay? There's a lot of us that had to, quote unquote, especially if you're not getting government assistance, like, a lot of us that are independent and had to do our process of way showing, had to completely receive no support from government systems for a while, right? I'm one of those, especially as we were unplugging from certain systems, we weren't allowed to receive assistance. Is that now that we're opening up more in greater levels, it's time to receive the assistance that we need to be able to expand, okay? So start calling forward and crystallizing into your beingness. What is it you need? Do you need supplements? Do you need to get to the grocery store? Do you need a car to get to the grocery store? What do you need? Do you need money for laundry, right? What is it that you need? Call it forward, guys. Let's all, we could do this as a community, right? Let's collectively agree to believe in a universe that supports us, okay? So we can end the struggle, we can end the suffering, we can receive what we need to be able to get through our day and to be able to receive our harvest, right? So does this mean that now you're going to get access points to be able to create a garden in your own yard so you can start growing that vegetable garden or that fruit, right? Does this mean that you're going to have, you're going to be guided to a place within your own reality or within your own life stream to where you can get more organic groceries and be able to afford it? Okay. Are you going to come into a higher level of awareness of how you can clean your own foods at a deeper level, or take care of yourself better, right? And we don't have to play into the, oh, that's for rich people and that's that. No, guys, you're in an infinite, expansive creator being in a body. Begin believing in that, please. It's going to help all of us to shift out of that Chiron wound and to shift out of that struggle wound. And some of us are anchoring that and calling that forward more and more and more. And we're seeing the revelation of it. We're seeing the expansion of it. We're actually seeing the crystallization of us being able to have resources. Like, yes, even through an economic collapse, it is possible, guys. Miracles exist. You are a magician. Believe in your magic, please. Believe in your magic. All of us need to do that a little bit more, I feel like. Just to believe in our magic and to trust our magic and to trust the process, right? And it's going to be very individuated and individualized. But when it comes to the physical body's process, start calling forward what you need, okay? Also, here's the thing. If it's government assistance-wise, start crystallizing and calling forward into your beingness that you want to find a naturopathic healer through that government organization or through that government assistance. Start calling forward what that narrative is for you and the support you need to receive from these caretaking systems. Because they're all going through an upgrade. They're all going through an expansion right now. So if it's like, oh, I don't want to receive from X, Y, or Z because it is a third dimensional system or whatever it is, right? Invite yourself to also call forward what that resource is that you need and allow it to crystallize. Whether it takes 6 months, a year, 2 years, or whether or not you don't need that resource when it arrives, it's going to show up for someone else who needs it. You never know when you call forward that download and you call forward that experience, and when it shows up, you don't need it, but someone else picks up that download and it helps to save their life, right? So let's say that you go to a clinic, a local clinic, right? And it's a government funded clinic or whatever, and they don't have any naturopathic healers. You call that forward, hey, higher selves, right? We need someone here that can help with nutrition or can help with energy work or can help with trauma or can help with yoga or whatever it is, right? For the physical body's expression or for the emotional body or for the energy body. Call that forward. Once it arrives, it might not mean that you need it anymore, but you now just created an opening for someone to receive that care that needs that at that office, right? So these things, like when we're calling for these experiences for ourselves and they crystallize into being, it doesn't mean that when they show up, we still need them, right? But we can also call that forward as an experience for the collective as well, right? And it's very important, especially when it comes to the physical body stuff. And for some of us that have been caregivers or are caretakers or in service roles and can't afford to go spend, a couple $100s at a chiropractor or to find a specialist, right, in a certain category because we can't afford it, you can call that forward in the government assistance as well, right? Because we all have a right to call that forward for ourselves. Like, and while we're creating these realities outside of that level of assistance and we're creating these fifth dimensional and higher realities, it's also recognizing too that like we can start propagating and calling forward those service roles and those structures to be integrated and included in those third dimensional systems so we can allow them to upgrade and expand. Okay. Can allow them to upgrade and expand. So let's also keep recognizing the more that we're calling for these resources for ourselves and for humanity, the more that we're crystallizing what those new earth trajectories are for us, and we're opening up that opportunity to receive at other levels and to receive that support, because it's really important for us to receive the support, especially to the physical body stuff, guys, especially for those of us that are that have been stepping out of the Western medical model and are stepping more into the quantum and are stepping more into the healthy diet. Like I encourage all of us to crystallize this and to call it forward, so we can have more access points to shamans within our public healthcare networks and connections to naturopath and holistic healing at a level where if you don't have to choose between, anyway, that thread just dropped off. But please, let's start crystallizing those resources into our being too. So right now, what else? Realigning opportunities, yeah. So there is also realignments occurring too. I like that one, to go into that. Realignments, right? So there might have been things that you wanted to do that you weren't ready to do at some point in time in your life, and now it could be called forward right now that you're ready to step forward into that alignment or step forward into that opportunity. Sometimes doors close temporarily, guys. It doesn't mean that doors close permanently. So there might be some closures or some things that occurred for you, right? That were opportunities that you thought just fell away that might be opening up for you too. That's a part of this revelation, guys, and a part of that opening up right now. Just be mindful of that the more that we're leaping and jumping, the more that we navigate what those opportunities were that exist at that vibrational bandwidth. And once we land and secure that vibrational bandwidth within the form, we're going to start seeing those things show up for ourselves. So right now, with the go window to create, the go window to anchor, the go and window to shift, we're also going to begin seeing opportunity shift, which means that the reality physicalized, manifest, will shift. It also means that our relationships are going to shift. It means that people are going to show up in new ways. And here's the key here, guys, is that as people are showing up in their newness, is can you allow them to show up in their newness? Can you allow everyone to show up in the newness of them today and who they are in their crystallized expression and in their crystallized spirit and form? Okay. Because there is a lot of stuff that we might still be holding human constructs over certain individuals, including family, friends, and relatives, and we have to allow them to express themselves as the higher self and as the interdimensional version, because they're getting used to what it's like living as light within the suit. All of us are adjusting to the new level of light that we hold, right? So as a result is like, there might be people that come up that are a little bit more sorry or showing up a little bit with a little bit more remorse, right? There might be people that start making those apologies to you and start correcting things. However this miracle shows up for you guys, please just let the miracle be. And don't attack the person if you can, right? Don't attack the person for showing up and for being sorry and for showing an apology, okay? I myself am finding that my relationships and the people that I connect with are changing. And if I keep trying to fix them into who they were yesterday, or who they were 2 weeks ago, or who they were 2 years ago, or who they were 2 decades ago, or who they were 2,000 years ago, or who they were at the 2nd century BCE, guys, the more I'm not allowing them to propagate the new. So I also have to look at, where am I keeping people in limitations and in fixed states of consciousness, and where am I not allowing them to fully expand here and now? Yes, let the miracle be, just as it is. And so a lot of this too is can you let go of the resentment and the worry and the pain just long enough to allow these individuals and the healing and the catalytic moments to show up for you in the form of its new expression, to give you the opportunity and awareness to know that you just reached some form of completion, and that endings are near and endings are here, right? Even who they were or who we were yesterday, my truth changes in just so quickly. Like, and I have to tell this to people, with certain things I say, don't listen to me. And, or like, don't listen. Don't hang on to anything I say. And I'm not speaking in this context. I'm talking about in my personal relationships. I'll tell them, don't hold on to anything I say or any truth or any belief I have, because things are changing so fast, right? And in that quantum dialogue, we're just letting shit shift out of the library. We're letting timelines go. We're letting things fall at faster and faster rates. And as a result, newness shows up very, very, very quick now. Very quick. And we can see the authentic expression of what we've been calling for to show up very quickly now. It's really rapid how fast these transformations and shifts are occurring. And, you know, here's the thing is, as we've been tuning in, we know that the next couple months are going to be pretty fast paced and pretty badass if we start to choose it, right? And allow it to transform through us, right? So the more that we keep calling in our authentic expression, the more we keep voicing our light to the world, the more we keep sharing, the more we keep showing up, the more we're going to see the crystallization of this expression and what it means for us, right? So yeah, it's a cool time, guys. Like, honestly, it's a really cool time to be alive. It's a cool time to be alive right now. I'll tell you the truth. The astrology was very unforgiving for a while. It was extremely unforgiving. And now it feels a little forgiving. I feel like we're beginning to see the clarity exactly of what we needed to see. Like, the new reality is actually showing up for us, and we're actually starting to see the tangible results. But you have to allow it to show up, and you can't hold on to what it was yesterday. You have to hold on to what it is here and now. And let go of the expectation of what you're trying to see. And also let go of the expectation of what it looks like to get to where you need to go. Let go of the expectation of how your process is going to look, right? Just let go. Let go. Let go. Hold your light and allow yourself to be your authentic expression of your light, right? And allow the reality to, like, Allow your miracle and magic to show up for you and to share with you exactly what it needs to show you. Don't attach to what you think the reality needs to be. Just allow it to be its expression, but also invite it to express itself in its crystalline form. All right, reality, show me your crystalline expression. Show me the manifestation of this really beautiful angelic presence that I hold. Allow the mastery to be reflected within me through the field. I want to see this diamond light. I'm ready. Universe, show me the magic. Then all you have to do is open up to receive. Open up to receive. Open up to receive. And you are going to witness the miracle reflecting back at you. It's you. And it's a sacred exchange with your own universe. And it will gladly express its higher light quotient. It will gladly express its vulnerability to you. It will gladly express to you the magic of itself. But you also have to sometimes encourage it and invite the reality to do that. Because what you're doing is you're actually inviting your reality to shift, and you're allowing your expression to change. So the more that you are inviting in this crystalline or this plasmic or this rainbow or this crystic component of the reality to reflect back, you're welcoming that expression of you from within to show up forward and through you. Okay. Because you're the key code of the reality. You're the holder of the reality. You're the holder of the reality. The reality folds around you. I'm not saying that. I'm not. Some really cute quotables over the past couple of days. I'm just not going to go there, though. Not going to go that, especially when it comes to God consciousness. All right, how's everyone doing? We're going to go through. You guys have been chatty today. Cool. Grab your halos. Halos on. Yep. Be the angel you're becoming and not the human you're overcoming. Touche. Oh, look at that, Betty. 4,837 steps by 11 a.m. Nice. Heck yeah. Yeah, no more great expectations on others. No. Allow them to be. Yeah, guys, the more that we hold expectations of other people, we'll be shown. Let it go. Let it go. Yes. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Genevieve. Cool. I'm just going through and reading. So, guys, lots going on. How am I? I'm good. 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 I'm doing good. That's cool. Thank you. Thank you, 313, for asking me how I'm doing. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. You know, I'm feeling supported. I'm really excited about how much everything has shifted in my life. I had a miracle shift happen the other night, and it was really bugging me. And it came in, and things changed, and I'm not the same man. I'm definitely not the same man that I was 72 hours ago. So, I'm really happy. There's something in the lower floors and a lower version of Corey that finally died and reached a completion, and it's really exciting. It's exciting because it's in regards to relationships. It's in regards to my partner. I don't go into details, obviously, because why the fuck would I share everything on YouTube about that stuff? But I'm really excited about what happened within me, what traumas I was able to let go of. And it's I don't know if it's done. I've learned when it comes to traumas and when it comes to clearing certain belief systems and certain things from within my life path, to never to say it's complete and it's finally done, because I've seen layers and tendrils and residue show up. But I will say I know I really reached a completion, and I know that in my own life I've been putting in a lot of effort to overcome these traumas and these battles and these scenarios and these situations, and to feel them dissolve, and then to see the solidified, crystallized expression of that clearing occurring, including witnessing the tests and how I'm handling them. I'm like, oh, you go, boy. There's been so many moments at the end of the night I'm high-fiving myself, and I'm like, you go, buddy. You go. You're doing good. And it felt really good because, once again, the experience that I'm calling forward might be different than other people. And a part of my experience that was really important to me was having a healthy relationship, and something I called forward. And this is why, guys, I talk about, when you're calling forward a creation, don't judge what you need to go through while you're shifting out and aligning that creation, right? So, it was a while ago that I called forward a relationship for myself, and I said, this is what I want within my partner. And my partner showed up and we've been going through the clearing, and there's been a lot of moments for myself where I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm running, right? There's a lot of moments where I'm like, I'm done with this storyline, blah, 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 it's been pretty dramatic and drastic on me. But I also recognize that right now I had a really important time through some levels of awareness and reverting back to my own archival memory, my own resources, and to like also lean on my community to discuss a little bit about what was going on with people one-on-one, asking for assistance and help, that I was finally able to really retrieve some really beautiful insight about my own traumas, my own multidimensional traumas as well. Things that have happened to me in as a result of who I am as being a gatekeeper, as part of being a grid keeper, and some of the imprints that I held, that I was able to let go of things, and now I can see it because we've also had moments of initiations and tests, and I can see how I'm responding to it, and I'm like, wow, like there's some really serious traumas that shifted really quickly, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy. So I'm good. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm also tired, and I'm kind of in that phase 2 transitionally where it's like, what more can I do, right? Like, because I'm ready to step up more. That's why I'm not doing tarot as much. I'm stepping away from divination because there's some timelines that I'm resetting and pushing through. And now I'm expanding my gifts and abilities and discovering what it is that I want to do within the newness. Because right now, at the end of the day, the downloads that came forward to me was like, Corey, it's not about the humanitarian project right now. It's about you being happy. Right? Because for a really long time, it was like, oh, I need to go and I need to build this retreat center, and we need to get the community together. We need to get the tribe. And things shifted for me. My universe was like, no, we just need you happy. We need your heart open. And I was like, what? You mean like, all of this stuff doesn't matter? And they're like, no, it does matter. But like, if you really want to step into a higher consciousness reality and you want to play on New Earth and you want to do that, your heart's got to be open. And so my universe very much so set the stage, because I was calling it forward, what it means to just be happy and to feel supported in what I do. Because once again, there's a lot of us, that had to go through a lot to get here. And I know because you'll be feeling this too. Sorry, but it's really important for us to be happy. It really is right now. And whatever it is you want to do and create, it's important. And the journey hasn't been easy, but I knew it would be worth it, right? I knew it'd be worth it. And this is why, for some of us, this is why I was talking about the soldiering on, right? Is there's been a lot of this journey where we just had to suck it up and keep going. Because we didn't have time, right? Like, I'm serious. I mean, there was moments where you're going through shit and your galactics come in and they're like, get up, go, you gotta go. You're like, what the fuck? I don't know how many times you've been woken up in the middle of the night saying, pack your shit, you gotta run, right? And that was a lot of my journey, guys. A lot of my journey is I'm sitting there and I'm happy and I'm excited. My universe says, sorry, you gotta kick everyone out of your life, or sorry, you gotta leave this apartment, right? Or sorry, you gotta leave your home. Ever since it was really time for me to get going on my awakening journey and to step forward into my projects and to step forward into my service, I did not get a lot of time to relax. And I didn't get a lot of time where my universe said, hey, within a couple of weeks, we need you to move. It was like, get up, you got to go. Pack up the bags, you got to shift. So I was always on the run. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Chocolat. If you've ever seen Chocolat, it was a lot like that, where you're just kind of like going, you don't know when you got to leave. And as a result, always having to let go of people, always showing up in a new area, and right when you get comfortable, bam, the universe is like, no, you got to go, or someone's got to leave, or like right when you fall in love, right, that person breaks your heart, or like you think you can trust this person, then it's just been like, it's been wild. It's been wild. And so now it's like the happiness has been really important for the expression. And as a result, there's a lot of mission stuff I had to let go of, right? There's a lot of stuff, right? There's a lot of things I've had to let go of to choose my happiness, which means that my ego didn't like it, which means that my identity didn't like it. But as a result, I'm getting closer and closer to what my manifestation is, what I want to create. And not from a place of selfishness, right? It's from a place of like, the place that's coming through, it's from a place of, for a really long time for myself, I didn't know what I wanted within reality. I didn't know what I wanted as manifestations. So I like copy and pasted other people's manifestations, and I just like walked through living other people's lives because I wasn't getting serious about what I really wanted from within. And now that I started to get serious about what it is I really want for myself, for the betterment of myself, for my evolution, for the betterment of humanity, the more agendas I have to let go of and the more belief systems, because there was a lot of new age agendas that I've had to clear. And there's a lot of belief systems I took on from other teachers and way showers that I've been having to let go of. And so it's made it hard, like really finding what my truth is. And if you've ever been a people pleaser, right? A lot of that is like having to shapeshift with our truth. So we're not encountering those attacks or those situations that are catalytic, right? Thank you. You guys are too. You guys are incredible too. There's a lot of belief systems that I had to let go of, right? And so as a result, propagating the newness for myself has been a letting go of a lot of stereotypes, letting go of a lot of cultural templates, letting go of a lot of things that I thought were right and actually aren't at a soul level, having to make peace with decisions I made that weren't highest aligned, having to say thank you to people that really fucked me up pretty bad that I loved unconditionally, having to go through a lot of gaslighting stuff, trusting my intuition now, and then Stockholm syndrome. Yo, guys, Stockholm syndrome, shit be real, right? I don't want to label a syndrome on anything, but like, it's pretty nasty when if one day, I don't go into my story a whole lot on purpose. I just don't need to. But anyone that knows my story, that sat down and talked to me, there's a lot of stuff that many of us have been through, and I want to open up about it more someday. I just don't want to keep propagating the pathways. But there's a lot of stuff, like especially when it comes to Stockholm syndrome, especially when it comes to gaslighting, especially when it comes to narcissistic abuse, especially when it comes to multidimensional things, especially when it comes to being on mission and on assignment, and things are trying to get to you and they can't get to you, so they pop into someone that you love's body and they start fucking with you through your loved ones, right? Or that you fall in love with someone and you're opening your heart in this expression, and then a version of them jumps in the suit and fucking just traumatizes you. Like all those soul shattering events, all those things that we're overcoming and clearing. And this is why a part of being a blueprinter and a part of being a way shower is to really to make peace with these things and to not allow them to occur anymore. Because a lot of us were on mission, a lot of us were on serious mission, right? And then all of a sudden your loved ones all turn on you at once and you're like, what the fuck is going on, right? Because what you were doing and what you were cleaning up, they couldn't affect you, but it could affect your loved ones and your family, right? And that's a lot of the stuff that we've had to let go of, and that's a lot of the wounded veteran stuff, and a lot of the big galactic stuff that we've had to let go of, and all the galactic war, multidimensional stuff. And this is why I talk about freedom and love, guys, right? This is why I talk about freedom and love, right? Because I don't know if any else of you have been through this, where you're on mission, you're on assignment, you're doing some grid working detail, you're out in public, and then all of a sudden fucking implant switch goes off and someone just starts threatening you and flipping out on you, right? And not knowing when someone's going to pull out a knife or pull out a gun because you're sitting there cleaning up some system, right? And then all of a sudden your light triggers off something, and then that person just becomes violent, like out of nowhere. Or all of a sudden you're in the most stable or beautiful time of your life and everything falls away, right? And guys, I'm not a victim. Neither are you. But we've all had these experiences. I know people that have been on the road driving, doing grid work, and something takes over the wheel and tries to kill them. I've had people that have had, planes almost crash on them while they're traveling. There's people that have done some really serious grid work detail and done some really serious mission stuff, and as a result, faced some really nasty traumas, and everyone faced it differently. And that's why this stuff is to talk about this stuff is very real, and a lot of us have to heal that. Right? And it's not a complaint, guys. It's not a complaint. This is real. This is stuff that we face and encountered, and it messed with our lives. It messed with our loved ones. It hurt our pets. It hurt our pets. Like I've had moments where I've had things take over my animals and kill my animals, right? And I knew it. Those aren't happening anymore. And that's why it's really beautiful to be where we're at right now, is those experiences are not happening anymore. And that's why it's really, 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 really cool that we're here. And this is why You know, I'm so celebratory and so light, guys. And to be, you know, to finish this up, and what I want to say, the happiness and the awareness that I hold was not given to me on a silver platter. There was pain and scenarios that I had to walk through to get here, and that we all did. I'm not the only one. We all had to walk through shit to get here. Okay. So just be, you know, mindful is that all of us have a story and have an experience that landed us here, that gifted us the wisdom and insight to land here. We all had to walk through 3D. We all had to walk through the PTSD of 3D. We all had to walk through hell to get here, right? So this is by no means a comparison thing or a contrast, right? You deserve to be rewarded for what you've done, especially in regards to waking up in a third dimensional system and coming out and then still finding hope. Okay, this was coming through last night and is really important. Is there are some of us that at all costs have been believing in love, no matter what, because we have faith. So if you've been believing in love and you've been made fun of for being a light worker, or you've been made fun of for being love, right, or that you're not, you know, whatever, it hasn't been easy continually believing in love. And the song, it's by Journey, Don't Stop Believing. Even when all odds were against me being able to receive anything or to live another day or to take another breath or to find happiness, I continued to believe. I continued to believe. All of us continue to believe. And it's that belief that drives the momentum of the ship forward, carrying forward, is that we just don't stop believing. We don't stop believing in who we are. We don't stop believing in our faith. We don't stop believing in our right to our happiness and to our love and for the future of humanity. And so that's what's really cool about this, guys, is that there's a lot of us now that are beginning to settle into the newness. And we're able to see it now because we believed it and held it long enough that it's now starting to show up. And it might be showing up in micro pockets. It might be showing up in little miracles, or it might be blasted wide open in your face, right? But we cannot give up the faith, whatever that faith is. Whether it's you believe in God, whether you believe in the potential of humanity, you believe in Christ's light, you believe in happiness, you believe in love, just hold on to the feeling and don't let go. Okay? Do not let go of the feeling. We're all superheroes in our own right. Yes, very much so. No, never bypass ourselves in the love business. No. Push through everything. That's why I always say freedom is beyond the feeling, guys. Freedom is beyond the feeling. That's why a lot of people sometimes when we're going through the love and the purification a lot, is that there's a lot of that, like having to feel anger and fear, and people are like, no, and I'm like, guys, your freedom lies beyond that feeling, right? Like, crying's okay, feeling's okay, kicking and screaming is okay, internal torment, internal torture is okay, let it go, it's okay, right? It's okay, all good, all good, all good. So anyways, guys, that's it. We've gone for 72 minutes. I think we went on long enough. I thank you guys for being here. So, you know, this is a very transitional energy that we're in, right? So exercise, take your time, have fun, get a glass of water, go out, sit in the sunshine, you know, go play. And, you know, go play pretend, guys. Like, go build that fort, go do that thing. You know, I did that too. I built a fort the other night in my RV, right? And I like had my fort and I was in there, you know, watching TV, doing my thing. Do what you can, like, to go have fun in that expression. Go get in a pillow fight with your loved ones. Go play with your kids. Go hold on to your family members, right? Go give them a hug. Tell them you love them. Tell them that you care. You know, show up for someone else. Show up for yourself, right? Tune into the lesson and the wisdoms that are coming forward here now for us, guys, because it really is a time of great expansion and great change if we choose to allow ourselves to be within that change and to allow it to push us forward, right? So we don't have to become a victim of acceleration or a victim to acceleration. We can allow acceleration to shift us and to move us forward, okay? Keep embodying. Focus on the embodiment, which means that we need to be in the body. Breathe into the body. Ground, get your butt on the dirt. Connect with Mother Nature. Harmonize with her. Harmonize with her multidimensional expression. You know, Harmonize with your multidimensionality. Harmonize with your I am. Harmonize with your own self, and then witness the magic. Right? And allow the magic to flow through you. Allow the magic to show up for you. However you choose to see that. Okay. However you choose to see that. Right. So I love you guys. Much love and respect to everyone out there. Thank you for all your likes, shares, and subscribes. Keep tuning in. I'm looking forward to seeing what's showing up and what's arriving. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep showing up guilt-free, passionate, loving, vulnerable, right? So you might see a few more tears. You might feel a little bit more tears within yourself. Guys, there's a new humanity that's being born through us right now, right? And the things that we envisioned are really starting to align for us and to be seen, and to be heard, and to be felt, and to be witnessed fully through everything that's going on. So the more that you keep that hope and that inspiration and that imagination alive and that creativity for thriving, the more we're going to see it, not only individually and collectively, right? So keep opening up to receive, keep opening up to play, keep opening up to just be yourself, and just keep valuing yourself, value your freedom, value your sovereignty, and value one another, right? Allow other people to show up new as well. If we're showing up new, okay, let's dissolve the expectation of how other people are supposed to show up and just let them show up. Right? And just let them show up, right? Remember, exercise, right? Breathe, relax, take moments to slow down, and I encourage you to find your strengths, gifts, and abilities today. And you can do that out in nature. You can do that within meditation. And if you need assistance with that, you can reach out to me, okay? foundersoflight@gmail.com. All the links are in the description box. I invite you to open up a line of communication with yourself and with one another, within people in this community, and with me if you want to as well. We're open up for sessions. Donations always greatly appreciated, but no expectation and not a requirement. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. The support is very much so appreciated. There's been people that have been sending me lots of support lately, and I want to say thank you. Thank you for everyone that's been supporting me on this journey, and has been supporting the channel and has been donating, right? I appreciate you, right? So as we close down this sacred ceremony, right, and gift ourselves back to our own freedom and rewrite our own stories and our own narratives how we so choose, right, I invite you to take your power back. I invite you to call your energy back. I invite you to begin propagating your own freedom, your own wisdom, your own guidance, and your own peace. While I am a way shower and I share my wisdom and my lessons and my peace with you, I invite you to find what yours is and to celebrate that uniquely as your expression, right? You do not have to click subscribe to my belief systems. You can listen, hear, feel, witness, discern, take what's for you, leave the rest at home, right? And then you can go back and you can start to unveil what your truth and what your clarity is. Because there was a part of these old pathways and old situations where we would trust others' truths beyond ourselves. And I did this myself. And I want to invite you to let you know that there is a master that exists within you, that there is a creator, that there is a God, that there is a goddess that exists within you, and it is communicating to you here and now. There is an inner child in your suit right now that is asking for your attention. Please play with it and please listen. There is light within you in its organic expression that is communicating to you your divine intelligence. Please listen to that. Yes, there are way showers and there are people here that are forerunners that show up and we do these things, right? And talk about these things. But I invite you to discover what your wisdom and your clarity is as well, because it's important and you matter. All right. So thank you guys once again. I love you all unconditionally. We're done here. So we're closed out. I honor you. I bless you. I thank you. And I hope you receive the gifts of the blessings of your enlightenment, of your freedom, of your oversoul, of your higher self, of your interdimensional versions, and the gift and clarity of your love as you reignite and reconnect back to who you are as the unified self, right? I love you. I honor you. I bless you. I thank you. So mote me and namaste.